Today, I want to tell you the story of a time I accidentally climbed a mountain and the 3 life lessons I learned along the way. But first, how did I end up in this situation? Well, you've got to meet my dad. He loves mountains and he loves castles. And as it turns out, accidentally climbing mountains just runs in the family. But what's key here is my dad's obsession with this one castle, Neuschwanstein. It's an old castle. It's in southern Germany. You might recognize it. It's the Disney castle, the one that Disney modeled it after. My dad loves this castle. We did Neuschwanstein puzzles and a 3D model, and this actual picture hung in our basement throughout my childhood. It's critical to our story. Growing up, I loved hearing stories of my dad's travel adventures, and this map of one of his adventures through France and Germany hung above the desk in his office. On an impulsive whim after my first year teaching, I took all the money in my savings, booked a flight to London, and applied for an emergency passport. And with one of my dad's old maps in hand, I set off on an adventure. And about a month later, I arrived at the foot of Neuschwanstein, only to discover that it was a whole lot larger than my dad's photos had let on. I was totally disappointed. I couldn't capture that picture I'd stared at for my whole childhood. So I was suddenly filled with this deep yearning to recreate that photo, and I set out to get the perfect shot. I knew from my Rick Steves pocket guide that tourists raved about the view from Marien's Bridge. And I didn't really know any German, but I could tell from the sign it was just a quick 15-minute walk away. So I set out with my camera, really excited to get that classic Disneyland view. Unfortunately, when I got to Marien's Bridge, I was met with a stunning view of the back of the castle, not that iconic front facade that you see at the beginning of every Disney movie. And so here I am, disappointed, but still determined to get that shot. And I thought, maybe if I just turn around this corner, get over this hill over here, I'll get to the front. Well, without a hiking trail in sight, I had to scramble my way up the base of this mountain before me. And it was a pretty steep climb. I was grabbing onto tree roots for leverage, but I was pretty sure that just around the corner would be that shot that I could take home and show my dad. Now, much to my complete dismay and disappointment, 30 minutes of scrambling really didn't enhance my view at all. In fact, I think it might have gotten a little bit worse. It was at this moment, clutching my camera in one hand and a tree sapling growing out of the rock face in the other, that I realized I was in over my head. I am not a climber, and I am not a photographer. But up I went. 30 minutes later, you can see that I was on the struggle bus. You can tell by the rolled up cuffs on my pants. Now, this is where I learned my first lesson. When accidentally climbing mountains, it is important to make friends. Unfortunately, my newfound friends were in the same predicament as me. We were on a steep mountain, we couldn't get down, and so the only option was up. So up we went, literally. If it looks like this picture was taken from a tree on a cliff, it's because it was taken from a tree on a cliff. But I was getting closer, I could feel it. I thought just around the corner I'd have the front. Little did I know, this is the best picture that I would take all day. So down out of the tree I went, back on my way, and I was so excited to find a marked hiking trail. In many parts of the world, red means danger, warning, but I was thrilled to have some steep switchbacks to give myself a rest from clinging onto the side of a mountain for dear life. And halfway through this hike, I've been on the hike now for 4 hours, I learned my second lesson. Just be present. In life, I tend to dwell on past mistakes, or I get wrapped up in the exciting or terrifying what-ifs of the future. But when you're huffing and puffing your way up a mountain, clinging to it for dear life, it's really hard to be anything but present in that moment. And once I got present, I started to look around me and I realized there was a whole lot more to see than that Disneyland castle. I saw base jumpers, paragliders, hang gliders floating around me. And over the course of the morning, without realizing it, because I was just present in that moment, I suddenly found myself up in beautiful new scenery. And once I got above the tree line and I could look back at where I'd been, I learned lesson number 3. I was missing out on all kinds of things because I was just trying to get the perfect picture. I didn't really learn this lesson right there. I still wanted that picture. I had 2 dilemmas. I didn't have that picture and I really wasn't sure how to get down. Fortunately, when you stay present in the moment, you lift your head up off the ground, you look around, you also find signs, and the universe gave me a sign. I didn't know what a Tegelberg was, but I was sure grateful that it was blue, because blue means calm, and I decided it is time to follow the blue path. Get off of that red one. And at the next outcropping, I turned back one last time and was rewarded with this stunning view of Neuschwanstein. Still, not a great picture. Definitely not the one I was looking for. Honestly, I was still certain that it was coming. Little did I know, this was it for castles for the day. I was about to turn the corner and head up that mountain. Now, on the path to Tegelberg, whatever that was, I was surrounded by people floating through the sky above me. And at times they were so close, I could hear their conversations with one another. Even though, I didn't understand their German, but they were having a great time. And I was pretty hopeful about this cable car house thing I could see up ahead, and I thought that might be my ticket down this mountain. So, after setting out 4 hours earlier, I was finally at the top of Mount Tegelberg, and I made some new friends. We talked about the fastest way to get off that mountain because I was tired and hungry and thirsty. I didn't plan for this. But no one had a 2-seater hang glider, which I'm now kind of thankful for. And they were like, just on the next peak over, hop on that cable car. And I did. And from the cable car, I caught one last glimpse of Neuschwanstein. You can see we're at golden hour now. It's been a whole day. So at the end of the day, I stumbled out of that cable car. I laid on the pavement of the parking lot and I tried to figure out how to get to the next bus. Little did I know that the picture my dad had was taken from a helicopter. Maybe this was a wasted day. But since then, I've accidentally climbed all kinds of mountains. Literal mountains and personal mountains. Life mountains, using those principles. Don't worry about the photo. Stay in the present. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the company. So if you gave the moment before you today your complete and undivided attention, imagine the mountain you might accidentally climb.